In this video demo, I'm going to show you how to use My Maps to completely organize your entire workload by importing CSVs out of your Mueller reports portal and into My Maps, and being able to organize that casework on a layer set that is Monday through Saturday, and then some additional layers. I'm going to talk you through this process step by step. I've got some maps already created for the sake of time that are going to move us along a little bit quicker. If you're not familiar with My Maps or the Google Suite, you just need to have a Google account to use this. If you don't have a Google account, just give me a call. I can talk you through how to create a Google account and get access to My Maps. It basically just saves everything to your drives. It's all free, and it's really handy stuff. So to get here, you just do a Google search for Google My Maps, and it'll bring up the link. Click on it and it'll bring you right to it. There's a couple different ways to access it. You can also access it through drives. I find that to be the easiest. Once you have that created, I would recommend bookmarking this page, and it'll take you. You just grab that bookmark. It brings you here every time. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get to this page here is create a new map. This button up in the upper left. Click on Create a New Map. It's going to bring you in, and this is your document. Now what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how to format that document so it's going to be continuously usable. It'll be a living document that you're every week you're bringing your casework into, and it's changing as casework comes in the middle of the week, and it gives you the ability to manipulate your caseload at any time, a bird's eye view of everything that you have going on. So the first thing we'll do is just name this. We're going to name this map demo. Save. And you're just going to want to add all the layers that you can, and that's 10. They allow you 10 layers, and you do that by just hitting add layer. And you're going to do that 10 times. And then you rename each layer. I do Monday through Saturday. I also do an appointment case layer, an appointment case scheduled layer, a carryover layer, and then you'll have an import layer. And you just rename each one Monday, and so on. Tuesday, etc., all the way down to Saturday, and some of those extra layers. I've got a document created for the sake of time to move us along. And this is with all of those layers created. You have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, appointment not scheduled, appointment scheduled, carryover, and an import layer. The real powerful thing about this is these two layers, your appointment scheduled, appointment not scheduled. Once we have this all built out, we're going to have these layers of your appointment cases, so you'll be able to see what you don't have scheduled and try and place that in the most efficient way possible based on what you already have mapped. So once you have these created, you're going to need to format each one of these layers. What this does, it's just an extra step to make sure this document's going to work best for what we're doing. So you really just have to import one CSV to each one of these layers so it formats that layer, and then you'll be able to drag and drop freely in between them with your casework that you bring in. So to do that, you're going to want to go to your Mueller queue, just select one document with your check mark, and hit the download CSV file at the bottom right of your queue. Hit OK, and that sends a CSV file to your generic downloads folder out of your web browser, and that could be different for everybody, but I'm sure you likely know where it is. If you don't, I can help you find it. So then you go to Monday, you hit import, select file from your computer. You're going to grab that case list file that you just exported, hit open. And it's important that you do this exactly the same every time. So what this prompt is, this is the information it's going to bring in for the software to analyze where they want your PIN. And you want to select address 1, zip, city, and state. Hit continue. And then this second prompt is basically the tag, and I use policyholder name 2. That's going to bring in the last name of the policyholder. You could also use policyholder name 1 for first name. I don't see any reason to use anything else other than those two. You hit finish, and it brings in one case to that layer. And you're going to do that exact same thing for every single layer that we just created. It drops it down to the bottom. I'm going to do one more for you. Select file from your computer. You're going to use the same case list that you did. It's just going to, you're just formatting here, so it doesn't really matter that you're using the same one. So address, zip, city, state, continue, policyholder name to, finished. And you do that for every single layer you created. And then once you're finished doing that, you come down to the layers and you just go ahead and delete that pin that they dropped in there. And now those two layers are formatted, and once you get through all the other ones, those will be formatted as well. I've got a map that's already done that. Now, let's see here. All these layers are formatted. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to import your entire caseload. And you do that on your import layer. I've actually already done this here, but all you're doing is you're going to your Mueller reports queue. You're selecting everything in this document, all of your cases by survey type. Download CSVs for selected cases. That brings in your case list. It's going to be case list 1. And then you come in here to your import layer, and that's going to look like this. You just click that import button and you follow the same steps that we did before. Select file from your computer. You're going to be selecting address 1, zip, city, state, and then policyholder name 2. And what you come up with is this right here. It brings in your entire caseload. And then once you have this in here, you're going to want to go, and I've already done this for the sake of time, you're going to want to go to each one of these that's an interior case, and you can do that by searching. You can just say, I want to find Busk. I get to the find by hitting Control F on my keyboard, and if this was an interior case, I would select it, change it to yellow. You do that for all your interior cases, and then you drag. I'm just going to change that back by hitting Command Z. And then you drag all your interior cases to your appointments not scheduled. These are all of my interior cases that I've got going on right here. Then we can get to the actual organization portion of this. I actually have a few of these scheduled. So I've got David Lawless scheduled for a Monday. So I'm going to open that Monday layer, grab David, and I'm going to bring him up to Monday. And that's going to dictate how I map for my Monday. I like to turn off this import layer and then drag it right up next to Monday. Turn it back on. And I know, because I've got this appointment here scheduled at 9 a.m., I'm going to want to pull in all of this casework right here and possibly upwards to schedule that. Now I also know that I have another appointment scheduled around here on Tuesday, so I'm going to break that up accordingly. Because of that, I'm probably going to start here, grab that guy. All you got to do is click on the pin and it takes you right to the one you're looking for, and drag that up to Monday right after my appointment. Then I'm likely going to go here, drag that guy up to my second position. Then I'm going here. If you can't grab it, you can zoom in a little bit. Drag that guy up to my third position. And then I'm going to go to this guy, drag him up to my fourth position. And so on. And as you can see, it's slowly flushing out your Monday caseload. You're getting them in order. I'm also going to add these two. Now that your caseload is going to depend upon your production. If you're really new, you're not going to be able to do as many in a day, but you fill up as many as you can for that day. You might spill into here, or you might spill in over to here. This is a high value, so I've got all of this casework that I can likely get completed after that high value. And if you take a look at when you go over this, it hovers over those pins so you can see your route. Once you have that done, you turn off that other layer, and you've got a bird's eye view of your Monday. And again, you can click off that and just go step by step, and it shows you your routing correctly from one case on. You can turn that layer off, drag that import layer down below Tuesday. I have another appointment that's on Tuesday. I drag that up. Actually, it's not that one. It is Hamilton. Turn on my Tuesday layer. Drag Hamilton up to Tuesday. Then I can grab my import layer, which is already below Tuesday, turn that on, and I've got Hamilton here. I know that's going to be my first case. And I've got some spread here. I'll likely go to this case first. Then I'll head down here, bring that up, and then I'll head over there, bring that up to Tuesday, bring this guy up to Tuesday, and then continue on up into this area. I only have a few cases up here, so it'll be good for me to clear this out after that high value. And then I can get into that big clump that's over there in the Littleton Englewood area, which is actually where my home base is, and that'll have a lot to do with how I map that area. Alright, and now you've got your Tuesday all set. Turn off your import layer. You got a bird's eye view of what you mapped and everything's in order. And you've got Tuesday, and you've also got Monday, and you can turn those both on at the same time, see what's going on. If you want to make some changes, you can make some changes. Now we're looking at Wednesday. Wednesday, I don't believe I have anything scheduled. Actually, I do. Look at the appointment not scheduled there. I actually have this nester scheduled for Wednesday morning. Drag that over to my Wednesday layer. Turn that off. Bring my import layer right below that. Turn my import layer on, and I can start formatting my Wednesday layer. I'm likely going to bring in all of this casework up here for Wednesday, and then my Thursday is going to be the rest of the casework. And a trick you can do if you've got all of this flushed out to Wednesday, you can just change this layer name to Thursday, change your Thursday layer name to your import layer. That way you don't have to drag the rest of that spillover that casework into your Thursday layer. You can just change the names, save yourself a little bit of time. Now I've got a file that's completed, and I'm just going to pull up really quick. This is going to be my completed document doing all of that legwork, and this document will continue on throughout next week. When you finish all your cases on Monday, you can come in here and delete everything and start filling up your Monday as soon as you get casework in. If you get an appointment scheduled for next Monday, you can drop that in the middle of the week, and you have that ready to go when you do your formatting for the following week. I use this appointment scheduled layer for appointments that I have scheduled for the following week. That's this guy. Once I clear out Monday, I'll drag him to Monday. Appointments not scheduled, I know I need to call people and try and place those appointments somewhere in my efficiency mapping. This carryover layer, if I happen to not get something completed, say on Monday, I'll just go ahead and drag that into carryover if I know I'm not going to get it completed that week. And you can use that for extension requests. If you see it in your carryover layer, you know you're going to have to extend it out, and you can get ahead of that extension request. Now that we have this document completely created for your week, we'll say it's Monday, I'm just going to kind of go through this piece by piece, show you how I use it to really keep myself organized and continuously import casework into these layers to try and save myself a tremendous, I do save myself a tremendous amount of time as casework comes in. So my week starts, I've got my Monday, my Tuesday, Wednesday all mapped out. Thursday, I don't have anything in here on Friday yet. I might use this opportunity once I have my mapping all completed. I usually do it on Fridays. I might call up my field logistics coordinator and say, hey, I'm likely going to have everything completed by Friday. Could you give me 10 or 12 more cases so I can fill out that day? That's another reason this is so powerful. You have a bird's eye view of your entire week before you start, and you can make those decisions way sooner than you can if you don't flush this stuff out ahead of time. So this is everything that I've got. My Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I can see it, everything all at once, and I can turn each one of these off and just check it out day by day. Say I'm in, I finished my Monday, that's completed, and Tuesday morning I need to make some phone calls. So I open up this appointment not scheduled layer, and I want to make these 2 calls to try and schedule this appointment. Now I've got this guy in Denver. Tuesday, I can't really schedule anything for Tuesday because I'm making those calls Tuesday morning. But if I look at my Wednesday layer, that interior falls right in the middle of that casework that I'm planning on doing on Wednesday. So by looking at that, I can come down here, and I know when I'm going to call Colleen Nelson, I'm going to make an attempt to schedule that for likely probably I could do midday, or I might want to do right after this this appointment, which I have at 9 o'clock. And then I could zip over here, complete this casework all the way down through here. If I did that, I might change the way I have this mapped out because of that. So Tuesday morning, I end up scheduling that appointment. I come in here and say, all right, well, Colleen is now scheduled right after Nestor. I'm going to drop her in there. Then I'm going to zoom in on this Wednesday. Turn off this appointment not scheduled layer. Zoom in on this Wednesday and say, okay, I scheduled this appointment, and then I've got this appointment over here. If I scheduled it right afterwards, I would start changing the order of these. So I'd go from Nestor to Colleen, and then I'd grab this person and drag them up below and come down through here. Because I scheduled that, I'd likely take this case off, move it down to my carryover layer, and hold that until I get some more casework in that area. Or maybe I look at my Thursday list and it fits better in Thursday. Maybe I want to jump over here at the end of my day on Thursday. You make those decisions as they come. But ideally what I would try and do is schedule this for probably around 1 o'clock, so I could take care of my 9 o'clock appointment, sweep through here and take care of all this casework, and then land on Colleen about 1, and then take care of the rest of these after that. But you can see that by having this mapped out this way, when you're scheduling these appointments, you get a bird's eye view of when you need to schedule it and how it fits in with the mapping that you already have done. It's super helpful when you're trying to schedule appointments. And like I said in the beginning, that's the most powerful thing about this tool. Aside from having all your casework organized at any given time that you can go in there and take a look at it, being able to see where those interior exteriors or high values need to go based on what you have mapped out is extremely helpful. Say it's Friday and I've completed my entire week. If I have, I'm just gonna say something happened on Thursday, or actually we'll do Wednesday. Something happened on Wednesday. I didn't get a bunch of casework done, and I dragged a few of these over to my carryover layer. Friday comes around and I just couldn't get this casework completed for whatever reason during the week. Something came up. I've got those cases set in my carryover layer, I know that I want to try and complete those as soon as possible the following week, so I'm likely going to put them into Monday. So all this casework I did complete. I just come up here, I delete everything that's in my Monday layer. I haven't found a way to do a bulk delete without deleting the whole layer, and you don't want to do that because you'll have to reformat it. I find it just fast enough to just delete each one by one. And then I've got that carryover layer open. If I'm going to complete all those on Monday, I'll simply double click on the carryover layer, change that name to Monday, drag it up top, and change my existing Monday layer to carryover, and drag that down to the bottom. So that saves you the time from dragging casework that you don't need to drag. And then I've got, not only do I know that I've got to complete these on the following Monday, I also know that I need to put through extension requests on these. So I know to look at these cases, and you just look at the last name, go to your queue. I could put in that extension request based on when I'm going to complete it next week. So again, another reason why this is so helpful. You can see what's going on and use it to your advantage to plan your weeks and weeks ahead of those weeks. It really keeps you in front of the 8 ball when you're trying to get this workload scheduled. It's especially helpful when you have a huge caseload coming in on Friday. If you're dealing with 40 to 60 cases, you get all those appointment cases dropped into this not scheduled, and you know what your calls need, what needs to happen with your calls, and how I operate this along with my tickets. I do still print out all of my paper tickets. And once I have this organized, I just go through them and separate them into piles, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, based on the order I have selected in here, and stack those in my paper trays. So once Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday come along, I don't have to think about my mapping. It's already done. I just grab my pile and I'm out the door. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot to this, but once you get it set up, it's extremely helpful. And this document, like I said in the beginning, is a living document. You change it as you go. As casework comes in the middle of the week, if you get a State Farm and it comes in on Monday and it's close to Tuesday, you can easily just add in the address up here, stick it in the middle of your mapping on Tuesday wherever it fits best, make that phone call Thursday, and you're all set to complete that on Thursday. I'm just going to go over a few tips and tricks in addition to what we've already discussed on how to manage this and make it work for you. So a couple of things. I'm just going to show you that I've got my week set up here. One thing that I do is I add a time to my appointment cases. We saw before that I changed these to yellow. All I do here is double click on the case over here in the left. I hit edit, which is this pencil button right here. I click on that and you can change the name. So before it was just Hamilton, and that changes it, and all I did was put the time and what type of case that was on the end of it. That way when I'm looking at this on my weekend or whenever it is that I'm trying to organize things, I look right there and I know that I've got a high value at 9 a.m. So that's one way, just to make your life a little easier there. Second, utilize the colors. I know I utilize it with the appointments, but if you have State Farm cases that are short turnaround cases and you want to make sure you're aware of that, change them to red. That way you know that there's a handful of State Farm work. You need to make sure you get that done. The next thing, sometimes you'll get an error, and if you do get an error, you just want to go to your layer and open the data table. And this is going to show you, this is basically what was in the Excel document and all the information that got brought into this software. And there'll be an error on the address. One common one that I get is this lone tree right here. A lot of the maps recognize this as Littleton. So if this said Littleton and it said Lone Tree on my paper ticket, I would simply come into this data table and there would be a red exclamation mark over here to the left somewhere. I change that to Lone Tree, hit enter, it's going to update it, the error is fixed. Now sometimes it just doesn't fix the error, so what you can do is just completely delete this row right here. You just right click on it and you'll delete the entire row, and then you can add the address manually. So we'll just say that I need to add this address here, 40195 Garnet Trail, Deer Trail, Colorado. And Google has found that for me. I just click on it, it's going to take me to that address, and I hit add to map, and I've got that in there, and it's now added to my file. It doesn't have quite all the information that the other cases do, in that if I were to open up the spreadsheet again, open the data table, basically it just has the address in here. And what I do with that is I will just simply edit this case itself. I'll copy the address down to address 1, and I'll type in the policyholder name here, which is Colleen, and I save that. And now it registers as Colleen, and I can just manipulate it just like all the other cases that I brought in through my CSV file. So you're not limited to that CSV file. Certainly it's the most helpful part of this, bringing them all in at once, but you can bring them in one by one and manipulate them that way. And the last thing I want to talk about is just priority casework. Say you get a couple of cases in our region, State Farm, are very priority casework. They need to be completed within 3 to 5 days. Those come in the middle of the week. I've imported 2 cases that would be State Farm cases. They came in on a Wednesday or something like that. I'm going to immediately change those to red, and you'll see that within minutes I'm going to be able to tell my field logistics coordinator when I'm getting these completed. I can make the calls and put them on the day that they're going to be completed on. So all I do is just start checking my layers here and figure out which day I want to put them in. And it looks like it's likely going to be Thursday. It is a little bit far out of that territory, but I don't have much casework that day. I can simply drag these cases up to Thursday, make those calls, and I know they're going to be completed on Thursday. So that casework can immediately get put into my mapping within minutes. That's pretty much all I'm going to cover. There's certainly more you can do with this. I would encourage you to find your own style with it. This is mostly a guide, but I find it to be extremely efficient. If you have any questions, please contact your regional manager or your team leader. If they don't have the answer for you, I'd be happy to help anybody that needs help with this. There's also a mobile phone app, which is Google My Maps. I use a Pixel, and it's free for Pixel, but I do think it does cost money on the iPhone. But it basically brings this into a interface on your mobile phone that's easy to navigate through. So anytime when you're out in the field, if something comes up and things need to change, you can pull up your entire week in seconds. Again, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please ask.